Hello, Bryce and Allison. Here's your sewer scope from today's inspection. This is me. Sorry for the shaky camera footage here. Yeah, not great cinematography. I apologize. A little bit of a tight squeeze into that utility closet. So I'm kind of like in the kitchen area reaching in to try to get a shot and get the camera head down the access point, which is right there on the main sewer stack. Like I had said today, this is not going to be an overly exciting video. It's pretty straightforward. The only thing that we have in here of any real note is a really small low spot and some foam. I'm assuming that somebody either ran a dishwasher or here it is right here. That is foam. Put some detergent down the drain. Ran a load of laundry. I'm not really sure, but it is foam. You can see it kind of winking away there. I did run a fair amount of water while I was waiting for access to the pipe. So, I mean, there may have been like a dish pod or something like that in there that, caused it to foam up. I took a break here just for a second to turn on some water to try to flush it away a little bit. So I turned on the kitchen sink. Hang in there, I'll be back in just a sec. So this is, I mean, slight low spot at the bottom. There's a little bit of buildup. So obviously the water is the bottom of the pipe. Keep focused on that. There's a little bit of buildup, but again, a 30-year-old plastic pipe, you're going to expect that you're going to have a little bit of gunk at the bottom of it, and obviously it's a sewer pipe, right? So it's not going to be pristine. I wouldn't necessarily even say that it needs to be cleaned anytime soon. You could do it. I mean, if you had money to spare and you wanted to spend it on something that's not terribly fun, you definitely could if you wanted to. But for the most part, it is typical ABS. That's an inlet right there, I believe. That one is probably two. I'm not sure. I said earlier today that I didn't see any places where your neighbors could be connecting into your pipe. Those two inlets definitely could have been spots where your neighbors flow into your pipe, especially knowing that you're 80-something feet out. There is always that possibility. All the more reason to check the HOA docs and see where responsibility lies. Beyond that, the pipe's in good shape. All your connections are good. As you can see, I'm still running that water. It's flowing fine. We're not backing up anywhere. Good drainage, functional drainage is the way you want it to be. Everything's moving along. I didn't have, up until the very end of this, I didn't really have any issues pushing through the pipe. For the most part, it's a straight shot. There's a couple of twists and turns in the beginning, but then as we get towards the end, there's going to be a series of drops and then a vertical drop down and then another turn that, just because of the sheer length of how far out I was, I think it was 164, 165 feet, just not the ability to be able to push past that. And I've learned over the years, not fun experiences, but you don't want to force the cable through there. Snapping a really long cable like that is never a good day and always a costly end result. Here's a drop. Okay, so we are almost going completely vertical here. So I'm turning off the water now just to see if I can't get a little bit of a better view here. So dropping again, leveling out a little bit. Okay, this is pretty much where I stopped. Now I would imagine, just from past history, when you have drops like that, and sorry, I don't know how that overwrote onto the video there. If you caught that, so again, vertical drop. Just my experience is that we're likely fairly close to the connection point with the city sewer. When you make those series of drops and then that big drop, typically that's what it is. Now you could also be routing around other people's pipes, mechanicals, whatever, but 160 plus feet of good pipe. All in all, I'm happy with what I saw today. I'm going to make a couple of more attempts to try to get beyond this. I ultimately am not able to, and then I'll start pulling back. I'll keep the camera rolling. If you want to watch the wildly exciting return trip, you're more than welcome to. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions about the video or the written report. I'm always happy to be a resource.